Yes, yes, yes. We are live. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, Monday at 7 o'clock. You know what that means. Just a few updates on the channel. I'm going to start being far more consistent on the YouTube channel. We're going to be streaming every Monday at 7 o'clock. Hopefully. Whoa. Just a reminder that I should start live streaming. We're going to be live streaming every Monday at 7 o'clock. That is right. 7 o'clock. No earlier, no later. 7 o'clock. This will be a live stream of me editing the photos from a video that I post on Sunday at noon. I think at noon. We'll try to figure it out. We'll try to fine tune that and hopefully nail it a bit more as we go. And for that, I need your feedback. If you are not in the chat currently, join the chat. If you are not watching live, thank you for joining after the fact. Now you know when it's going to start. Every Monday at 7 o'clock, we're going live, and I hope to see you there either ASAP or later at your own convenience, but sooner than later. Yes, that is not it, though. We are doing 3 videos a week. This is the second. Then there will be another video, a podcast, I think, for now, at Thursday. So Thursday will be a podcast with some random creator, either a photographer or a car person or a car photographer. Who knows? We'll figure that out as we go. For now, I've been talking to a lot of cool people who make a lot of cool content. I'm happy with the guests so far. I'm happy to release the first one. Super excited. I think the channel is going to be popping off. That's going to require your help. So for now, though, we are going to be editing photos from the video that I released yesterday, shot with Mr. Mats Anderson, the man, the myth, the legend. We shot this 2019 Porsche Cayman T. Well, 718, 2019 model, Cayman T. It is a manual, lightweight, 300 horsepower, rear-wheel drive little monster. The T stands for touring. I like to think the T stands for toy. And if you want to find out why, go check out the video after the live stream. Thank you for joining the live stream. By the way, after this live stream, go check out the video on how we shot these photos. We're going to start with this one. Oops. We're going to start with this one. And then we'll move on to this interior shot. Everything, by the way, lit naturally. No extra lights, just natural. And then we will go to this interior shots from the next day using the sun. That's right, our good friend, the sun. We don't want to add any lights if we don't have to because, 1, I'm lazy, and 2, I think it looks cool. Then we will focus on the pride and joy, the phallic feature that makes the Cayman T so special. The gear shift, the stick, and then a night photo. That's right. It is crazy. It is complicated. How does the stream look? By the way, if you're in the chat, let me know. If you are not in the chat, please get in the chat. Let me know what's going on in your life. I want to hear. Hopefully you're not just here to listen to me. I want to talk. You know what? I'm going to start off the chat. Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the chat, where we chat. Holla at your boy. Oh, Tom already started it for me. Tom, looks good. Thank you very much, man. My computer's having a hard time playing it back. And the viewer number keeps going crazy and the loading and who knows. But if it drops out or if anything screws up, if the quality falls apart, just let me know. These are things that I should probably know. But for now, let's start with this photo right here. It's going to be easy. Going to be simple. I like the lighting. I think it's super clean. This is a very super secret location in Oslo. If you know where it is, don't tell anyone. No, I'm just kidding. It's cool. It's a parking garage that's been abandoned and now acts as the home to many homeless people, I think. because it smells like a toilet in there. It is unfortunate, but it was a fun place to shoot because it's very dramatic. A lot of birds live there. There's a lot of bird shit all over the ground. So there's a lot of photoshopping that's going to need to be done. We pretty much had the location to ourselves the whole day. Let's start by adding some contrast, saving some of the shadows. Maybe I'm not going to go too far. I like the photo as it is kind of naturally, so I'm going to keep that vibe. I'm not going to make it overly complicated. Yes, Roger, I'm playing in the background. That's where I like to be. I am just a voice among many in your homestead. This is good. This is good. I don't think I'm going to play with a white balance. I like the way I shot it. I think it was clean. If anything, I'm going to take some of the purples and make them blue. I like that it sort of keeps one color all the way across the photo. I'm not going to play with that too much now. The whites, I'm going to add a bit more pop. Just a little bit more. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I have painted my microphone gold. Fun little project from this weekend. Some downtime, so I had to kill it with customizing the setup. Why have the same color microphone as everybody else? I want some gold. So, continuing with the photo. I think, sorry. I like the way it is lit. I'm not going to play too much. You could add some clarity, but I think that'll be the last thing I do. Dehaze, I think, is going to be more useful in giving us a punch. The saturation and the vibrance, I'm okay with it. Maybe I'll keep the saturation down a bit. I'm going to have to go in and clean up some of this paint later, but for now, I'm going to brush some of the highlights a bit more detailed, make them a bit whiter, a bit lighter. Once again, if you're watching the stream and you're not in the chat, you're doing yourself a disservice. Join the chat. Let me know how your day is going. I read and respond to everything within reason. Just gonna brighten up the car. Just gonna brush the whole thing. Why not? Let's brush the whole thing, and that'll give us some place to start at least. Oops, I accidentally moved the brush. How often does that happen to you guys? Because I do it all the time. And let's just brush all over the blacks. I'm going to add a lot more punch to the car later. And to do that, I need to have the whole thing brushed. So we'll just keep going. Keep going. Pretty slow process. It is what it is. Not too much you can do about that. So I think I'm okay with how much of it is brushed. Let's drop the saturation just a bit. I don't want it to be completely black, but I want it to not reflect too much of the blue because the car itself is black. I'm going to bring these down a bit. I'm going to leave the highlights up. Just going to zoom out. Add some more to this bottom decal here because I think it's cool. You know what? If we're just doing broad strokes of the whole car, I'm going to include the tires and the wheels. Let's go for it. Why not? Go for gold. Go for the gusto. That's what I always say. I don't think I've ever said that. How's the music, everybody? Does it sound loud enough? Is it not loud enough? In my headphones, it sounds pretty loud. Just cruising. Jonas, discovered you in the comments of the Daniel Plisco Raw channel on Instagram. You're doing amazing stuff. Jonas, dude, we have a mutual admiration for perhaps the most talented car, automotive, photo manipulator, editor in the world. Damien is a champion. I'm a big fan of his, and I'm stoked that you found me via his channel. That's pretty rad. That's good to know. That's very good to know. That's good feedback, man. Thank you. I think we've leaked quite a lot onto the background here. I'm just going to highlight. Actually, no. Automask did a pretty good job at keeping it just to the car. But just in case, I'm going to brush around the base, use the erase tool just to sort of bring this back to normal so it doesn't stand out too much. There we go. We're doing okay. Once again, I'm trying to keep it a bit normal, a bit modest, a bit quiet. I don't want it to be too dramatic. I'm going to take the yellows in the headlights and get rid of them. I'm going to make them a bit more warm, just because it's a weird habit. How many oranges are in the photo? We have some orange in the rafters over there, but not too much. And since there's not that much, I'm just going to leave it down just to get rid of it. I don't want it to be a big focus. Red, there's going to be a lot of red in the photo. In the graffiti and the taillights, I'm going to bump them up a bit. And I noticed the taillights are a bit pink as well. So I'm just going to push those over to red, and let's keep that there. Jonas. Daniel Plisco is skill-wise just on another universe. I think it's Damien. Isn't it? Have I been calling Damien on accident? But yeah, regardless, that is a very talented man. Extremely talented man. And I have a much to learn. I've wanted to team up with him on YouTube. I'm just going to get rid of this light. And hopefully one day we'll make that happen. He's a very busy man. But, and the time zones are pretty far off. That didn't do very well, but hey, good enough. Tom Arnold. Yep, Damien. Thank you, Tom, for clearing that up. I didn't. Jonas caught you off guard, man. I'm not going to do too much more. I might fix some of the inconsistencies in the lens. By the way, this photo was shot on the Sony A1. How badass is that? How badass is that? That's why there's no profile correction that I can do, because this photo was imported before Lightroom could read the Sony A1. So that leaves us with a TIFF file. And in the TIFF file, the lens profile wasn't recorded. Now I'm just getting a little anal about these this brush. And you know what? I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I'm just going to leave it there. Hit Command E. That's going to send us into Photoshop eventually. That is opening now. And while that is opening, I'm just going to hang out. What's going on with you guys? How's life? How was your Monday? Start of the week. Some people's most dreaded day of the week. Some people's favorite. I am indifferent. I have not decided yet. But you know what? Now that I'm streaming every Monday at 7 o'clock, I might like it. Come on, Photoshop. You opened on the wrong screen. Come over. Come on. Here we go. There we go. Yeah, we made it. Proud of you, Photoshop. I knew you could do it. Knew you could do it. So here we are. We are in Photoshop. Here, I don't want to do too much. I want to give a little bit of direction to the light. And to do that, oh my God. I'm losing English already. 13 minutes into the stream. I'm going to take out the lasso tool, polygonal lasso tool, this one, and I'm going to highlight where I want the light to reach. I don't want to reach too far, just maybe down to here. And I want it to follow the profile of this skylight. And we'll link it there. So now we have that selection. I'm going to create a white gradient, and hopefully it will limit the gradient to just within that selection. There you go. Deselect. Now it's a little bit too sharp, but I don't want to just add like a general. I'll do a really quick general Gaussian blur filter just to make it feel a little bit more natural, not so sharp. Just a little one. And then I kind of want it to stretch a bit further, so this might not work. Yeah, whatever. Doesn't work. So I'm just going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there, and then I'm going to add a mask, get the black filter, or the black gradient tool, and just mask out so it gets less and less sharp the further down the light gets. And that's just going to give a more realistic dispersal of light, if you will. Just something like that. Oops, a little bit too much. Something like that. There we go. Let's keep it there. The opacity is pretty dramatic, so I'm going to lower that to almost... I like to start from 0 just to remind myself of what it actually looked like, and then push it up slowly. So then we go to about 15 maybe. And then here, to really make the car pop, I'm going to bring out the brush tool and mask out the car entirely. Opacity 100%. And as we mask out the car, you'll see the car darkens quite a lot back to what it was when I shot it. And that basically just puts the car in the foreground. So now the light from the skylight is almost just hiding behind the car. Because I bring out the car, you should bring out the ground around it in the same distance from the camera, just so it makes sense. Let's do that. There we go. It's pretty good. How we doing? Everybody keeping up? Having a good day? I want to know what's going on in your guys' lives. What are you up to? What are you doing while you watch the stream? Is it on in the background like Roger? Are you making food? Or are you actually trying to learn? I'm trying to do both. I'm making food in my head. Hungry. Been on this weird weight loss binge lately. Trying to get that number on the scale down. Terrible. Terrible habit. So, there we are. We're looking pretty good. Now I could add some color to the light by perhaps, here, let's create, hit Command J, it'll create an identical layer. Let's play with that. And then you can add some glow and stuff from here. And you just sort of play with it, give it a different color, blue maybe, just because the rest of the room is blue. And then I'm not going to play with it too much, but as you'll see, just on the edges there, it will, I can just turn this off here. It'll just add a little bit of a blue glow. Or what you could do is add this adjustment, hue and saturation, hit Alt and link it to just that layer. And then colorize it. So then we push this to blue. Here you can play with the saturation. I think it's cool when it's bluish, so I'm going to leave it there. I think that's a good look. I'm pretty happy with it. So there we go. We'll leave it at that. Just for good measure, we'll hit Command S, save it. It'll save it back in a Lightroom. We'll go over and finish it in not too long. Just going to check on the stream, make sure everything's looking okay. Yeah, you can see me, you can hear me. That's good to hear. Cool. And as it is saving, I will now hit Command J on the background, create a separate background, and now let's clean up some of this junk on the ground. I'm not going to clean up everything just because I don't want to use 10 hours of your day. You worked very hard for this relaxing moment just after work. Everybody's at home hanging out, having a good time. You chose to spend it with me. Thank you very much. That's super kind of you. Happy to have you here. Happy we're having conversations. I'm happy you guys in the chat hanging out. Just gonna move some stuff around. Look at all this bird poop. Gross. There's not too much I can do about that. If you're really ambitious, let's just see what happens. We'll highlight all of it with the patch tool. Let's just copy this. That's okay. You know, it's good enough. At least there's no more bird poop there. Get rid of some of the little things around the car. And I can tell this is slowing down my computer by quite a lot already. Hopefully it's still 100%. So let's not do too much of it. I would do a lot more if I had a lot of time. But for now, let's just leave it there. It's not huge. It's good enough. Command S, we'll save it back into Lightroom, and then we'll go back in there, finish everything off. One thing you could also do while you're here is brush in some taillights because they were overexposed in the photo. Takes a little bit of time to make it look natural. Once again, Damian Plisco has a very good tutorial on how to do that. I'm not going to bore you too much with it right now. I'm just going to leave it the way it is. Ooh, you know what I should do, though, is get rid of me in the reflection. There I am. Hello. Super wide. We'll get rid of some of the other reflections while we're here because it looks like the computer is sped up a bit. Just get rid of some of the distracting stuff. Some of these big splotches. We'll just clean it up just a little. Not too much. Just enough so people know we put in a little bit of effort. Yeah, let's leave it about here. Oh, we're slowing down again. Here we go. Command S. There we go. Okay, this will be the last time. Last time I save it in Photoshop. We'll move over into Lightroom. We'll let that save bar go up. Steal some water. Spilled a little bit. My bad. It's been a long day. While that's saving, I'm going to open up full screen mode. That's right. I've unlocked full screen mode. And I'm going to remind you guys that I am now doing YouTube a little bit more consistently. So every Monday, 7 o'clock, I will be live streaming. I will be live streaming myself editing the photos from the video that I will be releasing every Sunday at 5 o'clock. No, not 5 o'clock. Noon. Sorry. Noon. My bad. We'll see if that lasts. I will also be releasing a podcast every week with some awesome creators, people who create, people who like cars, a little bit in between, whoever. You know what? We'll get crazy. We'll have a good time. It'll be fun. Everybody's invited. That will be hopefully every Thursday. I haven't figured out a time. Probably Thursday around noonish. We'll see. But for now, we are editing. We are editing. We are not thinking about the future. We are thinking about the present because we are here in it. Now we have lost a little bit of punch because of that skylight, I think. It's going to add some of the blacks back in. Dehaze is a good way to do that. It gets rid of some of the haze that we don't want in that skylight. I'm going to put more focus on the car, so I'm going to darken the gradient going up to it. Just using this. There you go. It's a little bit too blue, maybe. So I'll get rid of some of the saturation. There we go. We're closer. We're closer. How you guys feeling? How's it going out there? How's everybody doing? I think that might have been too much. You know, too much. There you go. Simple. Keep it simple. And one last thing I want to do is brighten up the Cayman T decal on the bottom. I'm just gonna play with it a little bit. Let's see. I don't know if it's gonna count as a highlight, but let's try it. One click here, hold shift, and do one click at the end. There we go. Oof. Yeah, looking good. Looking good. Let's raise some of the shadows. There we go. Now we're talking. This car, once again, I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning, but this car was provided by Porsche Center Oscar and Bottom. And the camera, the Sony A1, was provided by Sony. Very nice of them. Very good times. And there we go. So let's take a look at before. And there it is. Before, it was shot pretty bright because I wanted a lot of information to use, a lot of information to play with. And edited it a bit darker, gave a bit more direction to the lights, gave a bit more punch to the car. So there we go. Let's move on. You know what? Let's try Command C. We'll copy the settings from this one because the next one is in the same location with the same lighting. Command V. Let's see what happens. You know what? It cleans it up a little bit. It's not too much. So here, the only blue in the photo is on the car, and I know the car isn't blue. I've seen it in person. The car is indeed black, so I'm going to get rid of all that blue. Ooh, maybe not all of it. There was some in the background. Okay, let's keep it about here. Brighten it up a bit. You know what? We should brighten the whole photo up a bit. because it is pretty dark. The highlights got taken down. Let's go to about here. Let's drop the highlights so we get a more even exposure. This is pretty good. Now, one thing we did in the last one is we lowered the saturation on the yellows. We don't really want that here because the door fabric right here is yellow, and you got a lot of yellow in the steering wheel. We also have the brake light, the handbrake we got to get rid of. I don't know if I did that in the original one. It's a good question. By the way, if you are watching the live stream and you are not in the chat, join the chat. I want you guys to chat while I'm chatting to you. And everything you write in the chat, I will read. And I will respond to it. Within reason. We're looking pretty okay. I'm going to brush in some of these yellows again. And I'm going to start with this. I'm just going to add that. Bring all these back to level and then bump the saturation by quite a lot. And there we go. We got a yellow door handle again. Let's bring some of the yellows back into the badge. Or the golds, I guess. It is gold. Sorry, Porsche. My bad. Is there an actual color name to that? To the Porsche badge? What color is the red? What color is the gold? Does anybody know? There must be, right? For branding purposes. That looks okay. It's a bit dark. There's not too much we can do about that. I mean, we can brighten up the photo a bit, but I don't really want to. I want to keep it kind of simple. Let's hit Command E, and let's open it in Photoshop. That is right. And while it's doing that, we have a chance to hang out, steal some water. Ooh. How's your guys' Monday going? It's pretty gray. If you're stuck in Oslo like I am, it is pretty gray. It's not great. So I'm happy you guys are here with me. Happy you're here hanging out. And now that we've been patient, it is finally opened up in Photoshop and we can get into the real nitty gritty. One thing I want to do right away, I was thinking, but maybe I'll hold off on that for a second. One thing I want to do is add direction to the light. For this, instead of just using white, I'm going to use the actual color of the sky, which is blown out. It's just white. So maybe something around here, just so it's less brutal on the eyes, a little bit less dramatic. And I'm going to drop this circle gradient, radial gradient, and I'm going to hold shift and elongate it just so there's more direction to it. That is right. And once again, let's give it some color. We'll hit hue, saturation, alt. We'll click on it and link it to just that layer. And when we do that, we'll colorize it. There we go. Now we've got some color. That has also darkened it a bit, unfortunately. Which wouldn't have been an issue if I just used white, but I didn't. So I'm going to stand by that mistake. It's not a huge mistake, but I'm standing by it. So there we go. I'm going to brush out the car. Oops, get out of here, Doc. Nobody wants you there. Nobody invited you. Let's brush out the car. Looks like there's not much to brush out. I don't think it reached that far. But happy to do it regardless. There we go. Good enough. It's really sloppy, but never let perfection get in the way of good enough. Now I want the whole photo to be more blue. And to do that, we're going to take my favorite color, blue steel. That's right. For those of you who've been watching the stream for a long time, dope ass brown is not my favorite color anymore. It is now blue steel. That is taken over. We're going to paint the whole thing, and we're going to hit soft light blend, and that's going to add a lot more richness and color to the photo. It's going to go down to 25%. Let's see what that looks like. 25% opacity. I'm cool with it. I think it's good. Let's hit Command S, and we'll save it back into Lightroom. if we were very diligent, which, you know what? Let's go ahead and, we got time. Let's go ahead and be diligent. Let's get rid of some of these feathers, some of these bird poop droppings, some of these extra little distractions down here underneath the car. Should be clean. There's a little bit of quality loss because I had to compress the photo into TIFF because it is shot on the A1 and Lightroom didn't read the A1 at that time. But we're dealing with it. Oh, no. Okay, I saved it again on accident before remembering that I should probably get rid of this. The handbrake light. Oops. I did not select the layer. My bad. Using the patch tool, by the way. Great tool. Super useful. Here's a little reflection of the handbrake light. We want no evidence. And I think there's another one further up here. Yep. We'll just get rid of that. That'll be our little secret. I'm going to leave those two little ones and I'll get rid of this one. And the more I do that, the more my computer tells me, hey, stop doing that. So on that note, I'm happy with it. Command S. And we're saving it back into Lightroom. Did it save? Oh yeah, just really fast. How about that? How you guys doing? The chat's very quiet today. Very quiet. Started off strong, but it's gotten more relaxed. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you guys are just hanging out. Maybe everybody's chilling. Who knows? Whoa, microphone's trying to run away. There we go. Still saving. Computer feels like being slow today. It is what it is. How's the music? Hopefully it's loud enough. Hopefully you can hear something. I think the music's always quieter than what I can hear in my headphones. Because in my headphones, it sounds pretty loud. Who knows? And now that I say that, the song has stopped. So here we are back into Photoshop Lightroom. I don't think I want to do too much to the photo. Just kind of want to keep it as is. Keep it simple. So the first one is here. And then before editing, this is what the photo looked like. And then after editing, this is what the photo looks like. Didn't do too much. Kept it pretty simple. If anything, I would get rid of the greens in the background. I think they're kind of distracting. Maybe make them blue. Yeah, I mean, I can go even harder than that, but what's the point? Why? You could also add like some dust in the air. That could be cool if you had a lot of time. I think that'd be neat. But for now, let's leave it there. And then let's start on the outdoor photos. That's right. We're moving on. These are pretty simple. These, I'm happy with the way they're shot, so I'm going to just emphasize that. Evan says, I made it. Evan Malum, the man, the myth, the legend himself, one of Norway's hottest car photographers at the moment, one of Norway's best, in my opinion, one of the most playful. We are going to be recording a podcast together. That's right. I am saying it in public, Evan. I'm committing you to it. He's had a long day. The man has been shooting all day. Evan, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining the chat. Pumped you're here. Let's start with some contrast. Let's just get a bit more punch out of the photo. Since it was shot through the windshield with a polarizing filter, you do get a pretty clear view all the way to the seat. And I like some of the haze that it's left in the blacks. But let's play around with adding some dehaze to make it pop a bit more. Maybe some clarity. One thing that's going to bother me if I don't fix it right away is that the logo is kind of dark. The 718 embroidery, which is an optional extra and I think looks very good. So let's make it pop. By the way, once again, this is the 718 Cayman T from 2019. It is a 300 horsepower rear wheel drive, mid-engine, manual, 3 pedals. That's right, the correct amount of pedals. Mid-engine version of the 718. I think it's one of the most playful, almost purist Porsches out now. It has a very small footprint. It's very fun. And if you want to hear all of my thoughts on it, you can watch the video I just released yesterday. It is currently on my channel, and it is currently killing it. Evan says, the perfect companion while cooking. I love it. Love to see your thought process. Oh, Evan, what are you cooking? I'm jealous, man. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten in forever. And when I say forever, I mean I'm trying to lose weight, so I haven't eaten. The blue is a bit too much, maybe? There might be a little bit too much purple in the blue, so I'm going to take the purple down. That's right. There you go. You give the blue a bit more of a warmer color. I can do that a bit more, but I think we get into territory that I want to cover later with a different technique. For now, let's just drop some of the saturation. Let's go up into the tone curves and get lost in there. Evan, making pizza. Oh, man. What kind of pizza, Evan? This is going to define the way that I see you forever. What kind of pizza are you making? What is your favorite? Let's drop this and add some warmth into the photo. We're going to take the bottom and add some coldness into the shadows. And then somewhere in the middle, let's see if we can work with a bit of an S curve. I want the warmth in the top echelon of the exposure. I don't know what that means, but I want it there. Maybe a little bit too far, but for the sake of the stream, it's fun, it's playful. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yes. Once again, it's a shot on the Sony A1, which wasn't supported yet by Lightroom when I imported the photos. So I had to convert the raw files to TIFF to get these photos into Lightroom. So we don't really have too much to play with. We have this. There's a little bit of detail lost in the shadows because of that, but it is what it is. I want to add a bit more warmth into the lights and give it more direction. We shot this with no extra lights, just daylight, straight harsh sun. I didn't want to make it too complicated. I don't like playing with light if I don't need to. Is it cool that it's kind of cold, actually? If anything, what if we add some green tint to it? Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. Bit brighter. Let's chill here. Let's... Before, after. We haven't done too much, but I kind of like where it's at. One thing we can do is hit Command E, which will send us into Photoshop. Edit with Lightroom adjustments, because we put all that work into the photo. We want to keep it. My computer is taking its time today. I apologize for that. Does your Lightroom ever do this? Where when you open a photo into Photoshop, it just sends Photoshop into like the bottom half of your screen? Why does it do that? What's wrong with you, computer? I don't know if I want to get rid of too many details. The patch tool seems to be slowing everything down. There's some natural reflections that I think are kind of cool. Some like dust on the lens. Since it is taking in the reflection directly into the camera, the dust is standing out. I think it's kind of cool. Evan's making Induja pizza with a semi-high crust. Damn, you putting in effort. That's impressive. Killing it. That's a good pizza, man. I'm pretty jealous. I do want to add a bit more haze here. I kind of want the focus, the polarizer to work almost as a spot that's just on the seat. So I want to push a little bit of tension up to there. There's two ways you can do this. I have a favorite. I'm going to do the easiest way first, just to, you know what? Let's go with blue steel. Oops. I didn't want that to be even. I want it to be at an angle. We'll just add a blue steel gradient. Let's go to screen. Screen blend it. It's a little bit too green of a blue. We can either do it again with a different color, or we can just add an adjustment and go Alt, click on the adjustment so it connects, and then we can play with the hue, make it a bit more purple, get rid of some of the color because I think it might be too much, and then get rid of some of the opacity. I think that's a pretty good place to be. Another way that I would have done it is I have a collection of just abstract, randomly lit photos, the background is black and I just added a bunch of different lights. I can actually, I can show you guys. Let's do it. Let's go for it. 100%. It takes a little time to find them, but they're in there. Oh, I can't. I don't have the hard drive. Or I do, but I can plug it in. Hopefully this won't kill my computer. There we go. I now have 4 different things plugged into my computer. Ladies and gentlemen, if this holds out, the MacBook Pro is living up to its name. Come on. There we go. It is open. Shimmers. That is where I keep them. Just a bunch of random hazy things, shining lights into the camera. Just a bunch of imperfections that I can add to photos later. Things like this, which could replicate dust on the lens. Some water droplets, maybe. Some of these. You know what? Let's play with some of these. Let's do it. Full send. Why not? Let's hit Command E. Oops. Have to be in develop. Of course. And from here, file cannot be found. That's pretty cool. That's a good start. That's a good start. Oh yeah, you know what? Because I'm an idiot, I renamed the folders. Find file. Where is that? It's going to get complicated. So instead, I'm just going to take a screenshot of it, save us the time, and use that screenshot because I am lazy. That is right. What a technique. And the crowd goes wild. So, screen to get rid of the black. There is still some black in there, so we're going to put a levels adjustment on it and darken the black so it disappears. Let's lighten the spots that we want to be in focus. And then let's just move them around to where we want them to be. I'm going to play on the fact that there's already some dust here. So maybe let's do it from this corner up here. I'm going to twist them a bit. How far should I twist them? Is the question. What about here so it overlaps with the seat? It's kind of cool. Okay, let's go here. I want them to not blend in too much with the car because they should stand out as dust on the lens and not dust on the car. So what I'm going to do is play with colors. It's already attached. I'm going to colorize it, and I'm going to make it like dust colored. Like a brown, sort of to match the trees in the background. Maybe a bit warmer. Get rid of some of the saturation. Ooh, actually, I'm not going to get rid of the saturation. I'm going to get rid of some of the opacity. So, just down to here. I think this one is a little bit too bright as is, so I'm going to add a... Oh, get out of here, Doc. Nobody wants you here. I have both Photoshop and Lightroom open at the same time, as well as Premiere Pro. What a mess. And I have OBS. So if my computer doesn't blow up, I'll be very proud of it. There we go, and we'll just bring the bright parts down a bit. And opacity down a little bit. I don't want it to stand out too much. I just sort of want it to be there. I think it might be a little bit too big and distracting. So I'm just going to put it here. For now. Or, you know what? It works better here. What do you guys think? Where should I put it? Or should it be there at all? Don't make me feel too bad. I'm going to leave it here. Let's leave it there. It's a good place for it to be. And then let's take one of these. Maybe this one. Kind of like it. I think it's fun. I think it's goofy. Maybe this one. I have a ton of these. I have a million of these. I think I have a problem. too many. The problem is now that since I don't have them found on the disc, the color banding is pretty dramatic, but whatever. Screenshot it. Don't tell anyone I'm cheating. Hopefully that logo, yeah, that was definitely caught in the screenshot. I can do better than that. Come on. Get out of here. Oh no. These disconnected. There we go. We're back. Evan says, how do you feel shooting in natural light versus strobe external? I prefer natural light just because I'm a pretty fast photographer. I don't like spending too much time. I kind of get impatient. I think it's cool when people can really kill it at get out of here. Why is this? When people can really kill it at strobes and external lights, I think it's really cool. And I like playing with it just because I think it's a fun thing to do. I'm going to flip this. But if it's not necessary, I'm never going to force it. It should have to be necessary. For example, if the background is just ridiculously over exposed, then it becomes a necessary evil almost. And I hate to call it evil because it is fun. But at the same time, it is kind of evil. I'm going to put a levels adjustment here. But it is fun to play. And it's fun to try to master because the more you play with external lights, the more you learn how to use natural light. And that's something I really want to, obviously, something I really want to get better at. Something everybody should want to get better at. There we go. Let's do that. This is more just to show you guys the technique, really. I'm not getting too much out of this screenshot that I'm adding to the photo. Let's colorize it. Let's keep it here. That color banding in the screenshot is just awful. But at least we know how to do it. That's right. We'll keep it in for now, but I think it's something that I'll desperately want to get rid of later. Let's yeah, now we're stacking up layers. Now it's getting complicated. Let's save it there. You know what? I'm gonna get rid of the whole thing. It is what it is. You saw how to do it. Now you know. Command S. We'll bring it back here. Now I gotta find where I was again. There we go. Oops. Come on, work with me, computer. Of course, there we go. Yeah, every time I want to speed it up, it wants to take its time. Currently saving. We're getting there. How you guys doing? This is my chance to take a sip of water. How's that pizza coming, Evan? Still immensely, immensely jealous. And there we go. We're in a pretty good place with that, I think. Could add some vignetting just to push the focus in towards the photo. I don't think that's going to help too much. No, I think it just complicates the photo. So I'm just going to leave it as is. And from there, I'm going to... Actually, I'll give that one a 1 star. Copy the editing I did because the next photo is under the same lights. Love this shot, though. Thank you, Evan. Man, thank you very much. That's very nice of you. I'm going to paste this onto here. I don't think this is warm enough. I think this is far too cold. So I'm going to bump some of the warmth. I don't like the way the photo registers warmth either. The TIFF file doesn't quite work. I'm going to reset this channel. Start from 0. I'm looking at the warmth on the dashboard right now. That's what I really want to focus on. And that's a little bit much. I'm just going to do more or less the same thing that I did over there. but I think that creates too purple of an experience. See if there's any blue left in the photo. I can push that down to here. Before, after, let's just see where we're at. Pretty even. Bring up some of the shadows. I didn't really play with the light too much in the last photo. Left it pretty simple. It's an okay place to be. I'm going to add a darker gradient to the bottom just so I can push some focus up towards the star of the photo, which is the stick. And then in much the same way, I'm going to try to haze out some of the top by adding in some brightness. That's something that I will try to do later. I'm also going to add warmth from that direction because that's where the sun's coming from. So it's a good place to be. I've always made the joke that you can tell how expensive a Porsche is by how few buttons it has. That worked in the 991 era. Doesn't really work anymore. But I stand by it. The fewer the buttons, the faster the car. GT3s are a fun example of that. Any GT car from Porsche has so few buttons. Command E, let's take it into Photoshop. And let's go from there. I want to clean up some of the stuff in the photo. Just see how things are going. How are you guys doing? It's killing some time. Once again, there it goes. Opens in the bottom half of the screen for some reason. Part of the fun, I guess. Let's get out of this so it's not slowing me down. One thing I'm going to try to do is Command J. Create a layer that I can throw away. Oops. Wrong button. J, get the patch tool out. I don't like that you can see the seat belt, so I'm going to remove that. A little bit of a basic removal. Can go back through and get it perfect. Roger, you know what's fast? When it has the pit speed button. Does this have it? No, this one doesn't. But yes, the pit speed button is key. That's funny. What is the pit speed? Is it 80? Like in Formula 1? Can't be. Can you set it? Roger, does yours have a pit speed button? Are you trying to brag? Is this a subtle brag? Roger has a badass car. Do you still have it, Roger? I thought you were trying to get rid of it. I can't imagine that would stay on Finn for long. That car is 996 turbo with some tech art flair. Beautiful. I want some warmth from the top corner still. I'm going to play with the technique. Sunburst yellow. Let's go straight from the top corner. Let's make it a little bit custom shape. And then let's play with some of the screen. Or screen, maybe. Just haze it out. Let's try soft light. I think that adds too much punch. I think that makes it too obvious. Yeah, we'll get rid of that. Let's go back to screen. And we'll just let that do the talking. There we go. Now, I think it hits too much of the steering wheel. Maybe, maybe not. What do you guys think? Should it hit more of the car? Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get crazy. Let's get weird. Let's get a little bit wild. Hang with me. It's going to be sweet. Let's go with something like that. Now we can manipulate the color. I've done this a lot in the previous streams. I don't do it so much anymore. We'll take dope ass brown. That's right. Great color. We'll paint the whole picture. If we want a warmer vibe in the photo, we go soft light blend. There we go. It darkens the photo quite dramatically, but it also adds a little bit of punch and some warmer colors. I kind of like it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Command S to save it. Roger says, no, mine does not have it, but the GT3 RS models usually have it. F1 pit speed is 80. I guess 60 is for other cars. Yeah, maybe I'm being ambitious. I mean, 80 in Rudskogen pit lane would be pretty mind-blowing. You would be moving. I think you would be honking your horn to get people out of the way if you're moving 80 kilometers an hour down Rudskogen pit lane. But hey, why not? It's kind of a drag strip. My car's still at PCAP. We'll try to sell it this spring. Is it in the garage or is it on the showroom floor? Because I know they have a 996 turbo. I didn't know it was yours. If it is yours, I will make sure to take a photo next time I'm there and get the word out, because that car is sick, and I want people to buy that car. I want someone else to enjoy the luxury that is the 996 turbo. One of the most low-key, cool turbos of all time. I guess it is in the garage waiting for parts. That's rough. That's rough to hear, Roger. It's brutal. I know that pain. So I will leave it here. I think that's a pretty good place to leave this photo. And then the last photo, I don't want to get too into this because I know the quality is not great. Once again, I couldn't import the raw photo because Lightroom didn't support the Sony A1's quality when I did import them. Roger, part of the game. Yes, it is, man. Yes, it is. My Defender would have been done a long time ago if there wasn't any waiting involved. But hey, we're getting there. The Defender, by the way, is pretty much done. I just need some summer rims and some summer tires, by the way. Getting sawtooths, I think. 16-inch sawtooths. And then we'll put some BF Goodrich ATs on it. I was thinking, what do you think, Roger? And Evan, if you're still around, anybody who's responding in the chat, should I put mud tires on the Defender or should I put all-terrains? Let's straighten this photo up. It's kind of architectural, so we want all the lines to be straight and clean. I need to see the Defender soon. Yes, dude, we need to go out. Big boys with big cars. We need to go out and just roll around, cruise, own the city. It's too much fun to drive. I love that thing. I took it to Gaustatoppen yesterday, actually. Took it hiking. That was 6 hours of driving total. All-terrains. Evan, you know what? I kind of agree with you, man. It's going to save me a lot of hassle. It's going to be a pain in the ass if I put mud tires on there. The MTs look chunky. So I think I'm looking for 235, 85, 16 all-terrains. If you know anybody who has them, let me know. Or genuine Land Rover Sawtooth rims, for that matter, because I have to order from the UK and it takes forever. That's not something I want to spend too much time waiting for. Since the ground was wet, you get these cool reflections, but the reflections become sort of blown out at certain points. I want to save that. So I'm going to bring it back just by brushing them in. Once again, I could do this in way more intelligent ways, but ooh, it looks like shit. For the sake of the stream, let's keep it quick. A lot of oranges, a lot of yellows. Let's get rid of those. Well, maybe not that many yellows. Where are the oranges? Yeah, let's leave it there. Evan, it looks bomb with mud, but that's it. Yeah, I know. It might be harder to sell with mud tires on it too. Might be tougher to convince people. They're going to want to get ATs as soon as they get their hands on the car anyway. I kind of don't want to sell the car either. I like that car. Put a lot of time into that car. Let's go from here. There's a lot of blue in the photo. I want the photo to be more blue, but I want it to be more universally blue. A lot of purple. Let's change that to blue. Once again, look at how bad the quality is because of the TIFF file. I gotta re-import these. I want to bring out the Porsche badge. Let's do this. Highlights and whites. And then we'll just brush the badge. I'm not going to get more careful. I'm just going to leave it. Poorly done. Sometimes poorly done is kind of fun. There we go. Highlights, make it pop a bit more. There we go. And let's hit Command E. And that will bring us right back to Photoshop. This will be the final photo of the stream, by the way. Thank you guys for hanging in there. We're going to push through and we're going to finish strong. Evan says, love the framing on this. Man, I took like 50 photos because it was like midnight and I didn't want to be there. So I just ran around shooting tons. And I thought nothing beats a good urban, dark, low vibe on a photo. So keep it safe, go 45 degrees, shoot it low and hope for the best. I might want to just, I mean, if I was smart, I would get rid of the license plate because it's nasty. You know, I'm going to do it the lazy way. Let's just patch tool the whole thing out. And we'll take a pretty simple spots on the wall. There we go. Good enough. Deselect. It looks so poorly done. So bad. Let's use the clone stamp to, oops. No, not clone stamp. Let's just use the brush tool. And then we'll try to clean it up. Hey, not good, but good enough. Good as it's going to get right now. New layer. Our color, cold blue steel. But let's brighten it up because this is a dark photo already. And when you soft light blend, it darkens the photo. So we'll soft light blend it here. It made the photo, it made the reds pretty pink. That's something I'll just have to fix when we go back into Lightroom. Normally, I wouldn't want the blue to affect the car too much because the car isn't blue, it is black. I don't know exactly what type of black, jet black. But, oops. Opacity, let's just play with the opacity. Yeah, no. That's going to be a no for me, dog. We'll leave it there. Yeah, you know what? Let's bring back the water droplets from the last photo. Where did they go? No, I screenshotted them and they're gone now. I could just steal them from here. No, they're gone. I deleted them. All right, let's do this quick because I want them. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty neat. Is my webcam still working? Yeah, it is. Cool. Nice. There we go. Let's go to shimmers and let's steal. Those are okay. Those are probably better. Let's screenshot it because we're lazy and we're not going to source the raw file. Go back into here and let's drag this in. And let's put them here. We'll turn it so it follows the line of the photo a bit better. Right about here. Screen blend. Get rid of that black. But also levels. Because there are levels to this shit, or whatever rappers say. Let's drop it. Let's drop the blacks, but raise the whites so it becomes more obvious. And I want them to be the same color because the assumption is that the water droplets are on the lens. And as you can tell, there was some sort of water on the lens. That's why I got so goofy. But this is going to be more intentional. So let's make them red because the strongest light is... Oops. The strongest source of light is the taillights on the car. Bring it back to 0. Colorize. Red. There we go. Let's make them a bit... Oops. Let's make them a bit bigger. Just because I want to. You could do a bunch more, but I'm going to keep it relatively clean. So this way, it's a mix between the stoplights that are putting them on, or that are lighting them up, and the taillights. So we'll keep it there. Relatively clean, relatively simple. Command S and we'll bring it back into Lightroom. If I had more time, I think this photo could be a lot sicker. Also, if I had the raw file imported, that would have been nice too. But for now, this is good enough. By the way, Evan, this is one of those situations where I would have liked to use external lights. I just didn't have time. But if I could have used flashes, this would have been a lot easier. I would have balanced out the photo a lot better. Where is the folder? There we go. Oh my God, I did the same thing. Come on, just develop. Yeah, I know you would agree. You are the champion of artificial light. You're a king. But yeah, I would have used it to give more shadows just underneath the car in general. I don't like cars to play with light. I like cars to play with shadows. And I think this could have benefited a lot from some more distinct shadows, perhaps playing off these lights overhead. And if I had done that, I could have added like gradients where you could see direction to the light. Just something a little bit more of a story. But I might add some vignetting here just to push the eyes in towards the car because the water on the ground is a little bit bright. Just a bit more. We can also flatten the blacks on this in kind of a fun way. Maybe not so much because it's a bit too trendy for my style, a little too hip, a little too cool. I don't think my style is that cool. What we could do instead is flatten some of the blues. And just give it a softer feel in general. And now in doing that, I might try to add some green to that. But then maybe not. Maybe. I'm indecisive today. There we go. Let's decide on that. Cool. Good. Once again, just like the other photo, if you wanted to put in the taillights, there is a process for that. Damian Plisco is very good at explaining that on his channel. Before mine, I'm going to leave it simple. Let's look at the final. So here's the before. Whoop. Here's the before. Once again, this is a TIFF file. It is not the raw file. It is from the Sony A1, so I didn't have a chance to put in the raw file before Lightroom updated. So we had this to work with. I think we got a pretty fun poppy photo out of it. I think it's cool. I think it's dark. It's moody. It's rainy. It is what it is. I think it works okay. I'm happy with it. It's a good place to be. Let's go back through all the photos. Start at this. Gosh, it feels so long ago. Could have made it a bit more blue to match the set, but I think it looks good as it is. Pretty clean, pretty simple. This one also clean, also simple, matches the first one, both in the same location, so I think it's pretty cool that they are similarly edited. The outdoor shot through the windshield with the polarizer, added a bit more dust on the lens, added some softness here to the bottom corner. Shot through an open door or open window, I forget, down onto the stick to remind you that this car has 3 pedals. There's a lot of value in storytelling in your photos, and I think this is a big part of it. A lot of people, including me, I do this a lot, get a little bit distracted by the bigger picture. They want the huge, grand, awesome photo of the car from the outside, but there's a lot of value in storytelling. So focus on little details as well. I have to remind myself that all the time because I always forget. And if you look at my Instagram, you can clearly see that. And then the final photo, cooled it down, made it rainy, added some water droplets onto the lens. I think it looks pretty good for what it was. I think, if anything, the taillights are a bit too pink, so we'll slide that and make them red again. I think it's a good place to leave it. And with that said, I'm going to make myself full screen. I'm going to explain once again. If you weren't here at the beginning of the stream, let me explain to you what's going to happen with the YouTube channel going forward. I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. I'm going to be doing it a lot more consistently. Every Sunday at noon, I'm going to release a video that I filmed with Mats Anderson, the champion, my film dude, my homie. We are going to be filming a lot of cool stuff. We have a lot of cool stuff coming out that's just sitting, waiting. I wish I could post it all now, but you're going to have to wait. Sundays at noon before Formula One. That was the goal. Sundays at noon. Then on Mondays at 7 o'clock, I'm going to be editing the photos live on stream from that video, so you can see what it took to make those photos happen. And then Thursdays, I haven't picked a time yet, but I'm aiming for Thursdays at 7. I'll be releasing a podcast. So 3 videos every week. The podcast will be me chatting with other creators, other car people, just other cool people in general, people doing awesome stuff. I will go until I run out of creators and car people, and then I'll go back over them. So there is some sort of consistency, but I will also be talking to very cool people that I think have done cool things. If you have somebody you'd like to recommend, please let me know. If you weren't here live, sorry you didn't get to join the chat. Please join next time. You know what time, 7 o'clock on Mondays. I will see you there. If you were here, thank you for joining me. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Kyle, signing off. Time to go eat. Peace.